Well. Happy Monday, everyone. Gold hits over 2,500 US dollars, a brand new all-time high in USD. We'll take a look at it in Australian dollars as well. And we'll try and answer the big question everyone's naturally going to ask after we hit a new all-time high. When $3,000? Everyone's probably going to ask that, but I'll do my best with that. Of course, nothing's financial advice. It's my own opinion, all that sort of stuff. And if you're watching this on the replay, use the time codes below to go to your favorite pub. But if you're watching this live, you get to enjoy everything we do here at Good Morning Stackers, your weekdaily live show with me, Joe Main. In the first 1 minute of the show, however, we do the Synchronised Slurp. That's where we grab a tasty beverage and we slurp it together, whether it's water, whether it's coffee, whether it's tea, whether it's something stronger. I don't recommend it in the morning, but whatever, it's your choice. But you must slurp it audibly. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, slurp it. Fantastic. If you don't know who I am, welcome to all my new subscribers. Overnight, 581 subscribers started this show in May. And of course, the show is now brought to you by Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, my preferred physical bullion dealer, and WealthStack, wealthstack.com for unallocated gold with an amazing phone app and program. But we'll talk about that in just a second, or later on down the track. I've got to do my little plugs a little bit later. You've got to expect it. But of course, what we do first, we do the shout-outs, because this is really all about the GMS family, and hit the big red subscribe button to join said family. Mark, Florida. GMS. GMS, funny that you should ask about 3,000 USD gold. If AG, silver, maintains some decent gold to silver ratio, it would get me considering offloading some ancient silver, but we'll definitely check in with Joe first. Oh, well, that's very nice. Good to see you, Mark, Florida. Florida man from Florida. Mark, Florida from Florida. Pete, repeat, GMS. Yeah, chat mum back in the house. Oh, Tony Peterson's back. Great. Hope you're feeling better. Oh, Tony, weren't you feeling better? Were you feeling not good? I'm sorry to hear that. GMS, Tony is back. Chat mum. Tony is chat mum. She will moderate all of you. Ben Ferrugia, bull market Bugattis for all. Oh man, the Bugatti Veyron. I went through this period of watching a lot of Top Gear when it was on, but then I used to watch lots of YouTube clips and stuff, and just always the Veyron. It was it was the shiz, the Bugatti Veyron. Yeah, if I got really, really rich, would I buy a Bugatti? No, I don't think I would. I don't think I'd go Lambos and all that kind of stuff. Speaking of, Lance asks, when Lambo? Yeah, exactly. Morning, all Ashes Gold Adventures, GMS. Jason Ashworth. Morning, Joe. I think you're doing a running gag on me now, Jason Ashworth, because every time I say to you, hey, do the GMS thing, you got to, and every time you hit me up with a friendly morning Joe, which I completely love, of course, but come on, you got to get the GMS in there. It's part of the family thing. GMS, we'll be listening to the replay, guys. Enjoy your day and week. Slurp time. Knackers O'Reilly. Lemonade and codeine for me. I'm so sorry that you weren't feeling good. Did you have the old the old 2020? Was it one of those ones, or were you just sick? Were you just regular sick? Or well, you know what I mean. Morning, Tony. Morning, Joe. Morning, Damien. Great to see you on the channel again. Can't shake this killer headache. I'm so sorry. That sucks. Well, look, I'm not going to say that, and of course I don't give financial advice. And I don't give medical advice as well. If I ever talk about health or anything like that, I don't give medical advice. But look, I'm not going to say that watching this show cures headaches. But, if there's enough anecdotal evidence, no financial advice, no medical advice. GMS, says Damien Gaia. Let's talk about gold making a brand new all-time high. We've all got big smiles on our faces and we're all feeling fantastic. I hope you're feeling great out there. If you've been stacking gold or silver, we'll talk about silver as well and do platinum, but if you've been stacking gold for a long time, you'll be feeling great. And if you've been dollar cost averaging, even if you've just started, now this is interesting, right? Even if you've just started stacking like a month ago or 2 months ago or 3 months ago, you're already doing fantastic. Now, I'll give a word of warning to everyone. And a lot of people already know this. If you're feeling, whenever you're feeling, and I don't feel this right now, I'm not feeling euphoric by any means. I'm just like, it's a good day because, all-time high and all that. And we've talked about this before as the warning signs of when a top might start to be coming. It's when you start to feel really euphoric. You're having like weeks or a couple of weeks at least where it's just going up every day and you're just feeling, oh my God, but it's going to go higher. Just start considering your feelings. You really got to watch your feelings. How do I feel about it? Am I a bit giddy? Am I a bit euphoric? A quick little anecdote, and I've given this before, but for the new subscribers, the very first thing the stock I invested in, I started investing in a stock, and it was an oil company, oil exploration company. And then, a few months down the track, they struck a nice little bit of something. It was really good news. And this thing went up like quite a lot for a stock. And this is the first time I'd invested in something other than precious metals. And I remember looking at my balance, and it was it was a really good amount for me at the time. And I remember I was coming out of a Woolies or something, and I was with my partner, and I went, oh my God. And I actually had to get her to drive me home because I was feeling so elated. And she says, I think I'm gonna take the keys. And I was just sitting there on my phone. I'm looking and saying, oh man, it's gone up to this. And then, what do you know? Not long after that, blub, 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 blub. And people just, sold the news as such. And I wasn't as much into that knowledge about listening to my feelings and all that. So I'm not saying gold's anywhere in that kind of thing, but just always make sure you're trying to manage your emotions. I have a hard time just like everyone else does. But, you kind of want to counter trade yourself. When you're feeling depressed about silver or depressed about any other investment, you got to think, well, Jesus, is it quite a low point? Has anything changed fundamentally? And if nothing's changed fundamentally, if the CEO hasn't died or the thing hasn't, or it's not a global financial, or whatever it is, if the general fundamentals haven't changed, but it's just a really low point, and you're like, I've been in this for too long, screw this. That might be actually, I'm going to sell. You might want to consider doing the exact opposite. And again, opposite on the other side. Watch your euphoric feelings. Are you showing people, and I've done this, and people have witnessed me doing this because I've done it physically. I've gone and I went, hey, I showed them like a little balance on my phone. I went, oh my God, how good's this doing? Watch that. Watch that in particular when you're talking about it with other people and you're going, I'm having a good week, aren't I? Really got to watch that. Okay, so anyway, let's go. That was the quick little mini lesson. Now, let's talk about gold hitting a brand new all-time high, $2,500 US. So great to see. We'll take a look at that in gold in Australian dollars as well. And we'll try and answer the question, when 3,000? Of course, you're all going to want to know, well, it's gone up to here. That's great. But when am I going to that higher point? So we'll take a quick look. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'll just give my best kind of guesses and who the hell am I? Okay. But let me very quickly share. I'll share the screen here. This is the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia forum, and I actually just talked about silver. So I'll quickly show you what I posted there. Join this forum. It's a great one if you live in Australia and you're a stacker. You've got to be a part of the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia Facebook group. Near over 8,000 members. You can buy, swap, and sell for free. It's just a really great place to be, and it's a great community. Am I going to say it's better than this community? Well, come on, we're building our own little community right here. I love my GMS family more, but these guys are pretty good. I post there every single weekday morning. Silver on the edge of being back in business. Got a clear and hold, $29 US. Below 28, the bottom end of my best buy zone comes into focus. I should have started with silver first, but we are going to go straight to gold. But I'll come back to that. So that is that. Let me show you. Why don't I start with silver? Here we go. Here is gold on the, what's the 1 hour time frame? I do want to show you the 1 hour, but I'll just quickly show you here the daily time frame, priced in US dollars, $2,504 US. We're still above 2,500 US dollars, and we are still, as of right now, we are above this uptrend line. I won't go into all the details of what I was talking about over last week, but I was more confident. I was saying, watch out for a support level at around about 2,430. We did find that as support. Once we were up here, I said, I like the odds more, and I didn't give any kind of definites, which as you know, I don't do. But if I pop in these two brush lines right here, I said, watch out for this scenario, or watch out for this scenario right here, where we come down to around about 2,430, and then we break up. I said, you got to watch this, because you know that could happen too. I said, yeah, more than a 50% chance. So that means nothing. It means nothing. And don't listen to me, don't follow me, whatever. It means nothing because I didn't give you a definites, which I don't do. But look, it's great to see that this, in terms of the support level, that definitely played out. So that was, you know, a good call, quote unquote. But it was very obvious because resistance, that resistance spike right there, it was really obvious that if we were going to retest the support level, it was going to be 2,430. I think you can very easily see that, okay? So a bounce off there, and I thought, and I had a really good feeling that the next time we came up to 2,470, this area here, it's more likely that you break out once you test it a few times. We had there, first test, second test. Triple tops usually aren't a thing, and so it was much more likely that 2470 was going to be broken, which was a key level. And then I was very confident that if we came up to test this trend line, that would be the time that we take it out. Again, just because the more times you test it, the more likely it is to be taken out. Hit that thumbs up button, by the way, to help with the algorithm. So we have broken through, so that's great to see. Now it needs to remain as support. I really preferably don't want to see this break back down into this area. I really want to see it remain above this area right here. Through this, you can't see that there. Get my thing out the way, move that. There we go. There you can see it. My head's not in the way. Through the first point, that's the first point of the trend line. That created the trend line. We failed to close above it, failure to even reach it, and now we've broken out. What you would like to see is one of two things, and now I'm going to get rid of that, and I will get rid of you, and we'll draw in some new stuff. This is what we would like to see. And of course, all of this is just blue sky thinking. Do I say it's going to do this? No. Am I just giving you a kind of a what-if weather report? Yeah. Let's see. What I would like to see is one of the following. I'd either like to see this be a fake out today. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes, a price action can open in a certain direction and then spend a little bit of time there, depending on the time frame, and then reverse and do the opposite thing. So it's basically almost every single time. Almost every single, and I'd give it like 80-90% of the time. What you see is actually I won't give 80, but more often than not, what you see if you think the trend's going to continue, you see a little bit of a dump, particularly on the open of a day, the open of a week, even the open of the month, even actually on the small time frames as well. You see it go in a certain direction, and people go, oh no, I got in too late, and then it fakes you out and goes, haha, sucked in, and then goes in the opposite direction. So sometimes that can play out over days. Sometimes that can play over weeks if you're on the monthly time frame. On the daily time frame, it can play out over hours. So, potentially, what you could see is maybe a move down to here. This is what I would. Two things I would either like to see. I would love to see this be a fake out, right? And then we click back up and find resistance somewhere. Okay, because now we're in price discovery. Don't forget. I'm going to change that to green because I just want it to be green. Give me a second. I don't like that red. It has to be green. If we're going up, it's got to be green, right? Let's do that chestnut. There we go. It's got to be green. So that's what I would like to see. Something like that. A bounce off this support level. That's around about $2,500 hold, and then move back up. And what I mean by that is this, I would love to see this as a daily green candle, okay? So you want to see that as a full green candle. Today, maybe, come creeping up another, wouldn't that be lovely today if that was another $30, $40? But, over the next couple of days, I'd love to see that, right? So at least for the next couple of days, and I'll just move that up a little bit. So this might take a couple of days. This is what I'd love to see. around about, this kind of level, 25.70, 25.80. And then what I would like to see, that's when I would like to see this retest. Okay, that would be nice. We will, in my humble opinion, we will retest. It's more likely than not retest this uptrend line at some point. I would just preferably like to see more strength in this breakout a little bit higher over the next day or two before we have that retest, because then that shows more strength in the market first. Buyers going bup, 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 and then going, okay, we're a little bit of profit taking, and then we test this area, and then what you want to see is that kind of thing, like that. That's the most ultimate scenario, which gives the most strength to the market. Okay, ignore the time frames here of when it's landing on certain dates. It's just, just drawing a little squiggle right there. But something like that. That's what you really want to see. You don't want to see a little bit of strength and then a test. Because that's more likely that this scenario would occur where you have something like, up to there and then break back down. Just like that scenario before, if we see a break back down and then we come back up and we find that as resistance again, and then we start ticking over, that's not good. Then you'd be starting to look at, back down to here. I would imagine potentially, well, we'll leave it at there. 2040 would still be a support level. I preferably don't want to see that. Would that mean, and I'll put this in a red line right here, would that mean it's all over, done and dusted? No, it's just I want to see the perfect scenario, which is that. Okay, now why am I putting it up to here? What's the deal with this resistance level? If you're new to the channel, as of the last day, really over the weekend, then you wouldn't have seen, I just drew in the other day the mother of all trend lines, and we're going to go back, just so you know. We're going to go back to the 12-month time frame, okay? Now, ignore that. That is not a real candle wick. That's my fake one that I just drew in, okay? So ignore that, okay? This is my long term. This is the mother of all trend lines, the modal. This is the modal, okay? This goes all the way back to, and I'll get rid of the relative strength index for a second. You guys saw this last week, relative mother of all trend lines, going back to 1967 all the way here. That's the highs in the 80s, the lows of the early 2000s, the highs of 2011, lows of 2015, and now we're here. There's the starting point. There's the first point. That is a very clear mother of all trend lines right here on the yearly time frame. Each candle here is 1 year, okay? Very, very key level, I think. So I think that will find some kind, one of two things is going to happen. It needs to break and hold that in order to say, oh, definitely we are continuing onwards and upwards for the years to come. But I think you might find at least a little bit of resistance here. Now, again, this is on the yearly time frame, but if we pop, say, into the monthly, for example, I think you will find some resistance around about this level. What month it happens at, I don't bloody know, and neither do you. But let me get rid of this brush. So there you go. So you can see that a bit better. That's also one there. And that one. And that's the one. Okay, we want to get rid of that. Okay, so that's where we are. Okay. I am envisaging, and I could be completely wrong, but I'm envisaging somewhere between now and, so what's that, September? I'm going to say I'll be October just to be safe. Sometime between now and the end of October, it's more likely, if we're going to see higher prices, that is, it's somewhere between now and October roughly is where we would see a particular resistance level. That's if we find this scenario playing out, which is that right there. Damn it. Where are we? Whatever. That thing where we go like that and we bounce and then we bounce up. Okay, if that's occurring, then around about your $2,650 mark is an area of resistance that I would like you to watch out for. Give or take, $10, $20, $30 either side, because this is not going to be exactly drawn in. But watch out, 2,650-ish is the mother of all trend lines, is where that would meet if we continue on our way up. If we break up above, we find resistance and we continue our way, just watch out for that area there. Again, maybe September, October-ish. Should you listen to me? No. Should you dollar cost average? Yes. Am I just farting in the wind? Yeah, probably. But that's just my personal opinion, and take it for what it is. What would negate all of this? Obviously breaking back down. As I said, doing this thing, brush and brush. No, that thing, that one there. Doing that wouldn't be great. You would want to definitely see 2,430 hold as support, and if you didn't, I would suggest if you didn't hold support after breaking that, that's a failed breakout. Okay, oftentimes from a failed move comes a fast move in the opposite direction. I would say if 2430 doesn't hold, you would be heading probably all the way down here, and I'd give you a more than a 50% chance of that. That's probably like 70% chance. If we see a pattern like that, oh no, you don't. Oh crap. That would probably be taken out, and then you'd be making your way down here at some point. But I'm remaining very positive. I'm not saying that's happening at all. I'm giving that like a 30% chance at this stage while we're above this uptrend line. That's great, but I'm just going to give you the other side of the coin, right? So what I really do envisage happening is this chestnut right here. This is what you really, really, really want to see. That thing. That looks golden for me. That would be lovely. So let's stay positive for gold. That's what you want to see. I've given you my higher targets. That's my definitely my higher target interim this year. I'd say no higher than 2,650 maybe for this year. I could be completely wrong. We could shoot straight to 3,000. Speaking of, let's take a look at 3,000. Okay, I do have that drawn in somewhere. And that's not it either. Give me a moment. Where's 3,000? You're going to be right about there. No. Excuse me, my lovely people. Do I just not have it drawn in anymore? Did I just delete it? Because I just deleted it. Yeah, probably did. Okay, screw it. All right, here we go. Horizontal line at 3,000 US dollars. Let's just call it 3,003. That's fine. 3,000 US dollars right there. Okay. When 3,000, let's take a look at the monthly time frame. What's a reasonable target? What's a reasonable time frame? What would be not out of the question? What would be not crazy? Okay. Let's hide all of these. And I'm going to hide you, and I'm going to hide, nope, I want you, and I'm going to hide you and you. Okay, let's take it. This is on the monthly time frame. We'll pop in the relative strength index as well. Now, the relative strength index measures periods where the price of any asset goes through periods of overbought or overvalued to oversold, or you could call it undervalued. Okay. And it always eventually oscillates between the two. It goes through periods of extremely overvalued on a particular time frame, and then it goes into undervalued or oversold, as they call it. Now, the last time, just out of interest, the last time gold was in extremely undervalued on the monthly time frame, you're talking about back in February of 1998. We have not spent any time in extremely undervalued for gold since 1998. Now, that's when it would be around about your $250 mark. Yeah, around about that $250 US. Can you imagine buying gold at $250 US? Yes, please. Do I remember... Well, I wasn't paying attention at the time, but do I remember historically when the then Treasurer of Australia sold all of Australia's gold, almost all of Australia's gold, at around about 250 USD. That was really smart, wasn't it? Oh, gold's really, really low. Let's sell all of it. That's really smart. I've forgotten who that was, but dumb play. Anyway, but you go through periods of extremely overvalued as well. Now, in July, August of 2020, obviously we know what was going on in 2020 when we saw gold go from, here to here quite quickly, we have gone into extremely oversold or overvalued. That's why we've seen this long consolidation where the relative strength index has gone blip, 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 even though we've come up to have, a test of a high, so a double top, a potential triple top, which it wasn't because triple tops usually aren't a thing, but you can see the relative strength index on the monthly time frame go down. Got down to this low point right here, and then it's had this lovely march back up. Look at this, shoulder, head, shoulder, a validated head and shoulders pattern, and then it's moving back up. What I would like to key you into is the fact that we are already in extremely oversold for gold, or extremely overvalued on the monthly time frame. It changes when you're on the quarterly, the yearly, etc. But on the monthly, it's one of the big ones. Okay, one of the big time frames. We're already there, so you can spend a number of months there. Okay, but you won't spend forever there. Okay, it will go through period. It will tick over eventually. Okay, when that happens, I don't know. But all I do know is if you're wanting to get the best out of your investments, you would be watching when you go into periods of extremely undervalued, anywhere down here, particularly 1998, but you're not going to, that's almost a once in a generation kind of event right there. But you come down and then you want to be looking at getting out, and when you start in your you're peaking in those areas, and then just see what happens. Okay, so someone, and no, not anyone probably did this perfectly, but maybe someone down here went, oh, okay, it's kind of a low point. I'll get in here. Oh, we're extremely overvalued, extremely oversold or overvalued. I might sell some here. Let's see what the price does. You can see the price consolidating. Then it had this double top, but the relative strength index has yet to go down. So you see this, blah, 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 blah. Right, again, so I'm just, giving you a scenario of a person that probably didn't exist. But if they, if the perfect scenario could happen, you would consider doing that. We are in, as I'm saying, extremely oversold or extremely overvalued territory right now. You can spend a bit of time there. And I'm trying to give you sort of the idea of this $3,000 gold. That's why I do think, though, because we are an extremely overvalued already, that 2,650 mother of all trend lines area is one that you need to watch out for. And I think, see, what are we talking about? Let's go the end of this year. Right here, gold, vertical line. Okay, let's do a vertical line to the start of this year. Okay, that indicates the end of this year. That's $3,000. If what plays out, and we have to look at this on this mother of all trend lines time frame as well. So this monthly time frame, so where we had this little just breakout, and I won't pop it in, but where we have just this breakout and then of that trend line there, and then you want that little retest, the same thing is what you would love to see on the mother of all trend lines. So that's what? August, September, October, November, December, and all of December. That's January 1st, 2025. I'm going to tell you that there's a non-zero chance. I am not saying this is going to happen at all, but there's actually a non-zero chance that we could hit $3,000 by the end of the year. It's possible. And I'm giving you my honest opinion here. It is possible. It's on the higher end of possible, but it's actually quite doable, because when you have a look at here, look at these monthly candles right here. You can have huge months. I mean, we're talking though 1, 2, 3 months we climbed. Let's see. Excuse me. We did that was that move. That was 20%. And we had that little consolidation. But over the last 6 months, we've had 22%. So call it rose 20% in 3 months. Okay, 20% in 3 months. Now, this is going to be a little bit higher, but let's take a look at this. What's that to there? No. Far out. That's funny. Okay, that's almost exactly the same time, exactly the same amount. 19 point something %. So that's really doable. It's actually really, really doable. So all of September, all of October, all of November, All of December is 4 months. Are you saying that gold can't go 20% up further in 4 months? No, it can. Okay, so $3,000 is doable by the end of this year. I am not quoting that whatsoever. I'm not giving you any kind of percentage. I don't bloody know, and neither do you. But what would be the ultimate scenario? And let's just blue sky think. Let's pop in the green again. It's probably going to be red, but this would be lovely, wouldn't it? Again, this is on the monthly time frame, right? A move like this, and then something like that. Okay, that'd be lovely, wouldn't it? By the end of the year. So that's really, that's my call. That's my call on it. When 3,000? Okay, when 3,000? Doable by the end of this year. Again, it's on it is doable because you've had 20% move in the last, from where are we? March of 2024, March, April, and May, we shot up 19 point something percent. It's only 19 point something percent to $3,000 gold right now, and we've got 4 months to do it. Okay, so that's possible. So that's one scenario. Okay, let me pop that in. Right there, we'll make it green. So yeah, look, the short answer is, yep, $3,000 gold by the end of this year is doable. Am I saying it's going to happen? No, definitely not. But it's definitely within the realm of possibility. Okay, another scenario you could potentially see, and these are the kind of the scenarios that are most likely to play out. For example, rather than shooting straight through this mother of all trend lines, you could see something like, this, and back down to that rough trend line, and then that, right? Something like that, and then, something like that-ish. That's very, very rough, okay? Now, that takes it out to December of 2025. I think somewhere within 2025, we could easily hit $3,000 US. Okay, so $3,000 in 2025 is so damn doable if we continue on our merry way up. Given and I'll talk about this in another show, and I'll maybe do a very specific topic on it, maybe coming up this week. I'd like to talk about global liquidity, okay, and how global liquidity goes through its own cycle. Global liquidity means basically money printing, right? More currency, I should say, not money, because gold and silver are real money, but more currency in circulation, okay, and on a global scale, and that oscillates through. That goes through ups and downs, and I'll talk about that. But we're in a global liquidity low-ish at the moment. So a lot of people believe that there's a lot more liquidity going to come into a market, a lot more money printing. That's generally good for, the precious metals, crypto as well, Bitcoin, and all that. So I'm leaning more towards higher prices in 2025, and 3,000 USD in 2025, really doable, okay? Because it's even doable, potentially, by the end of 2024 as well. I give that probably a 30% chance of 3,000 in 2024, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. So that's it. When $3,000 gold could be by the end of this year, I think definitely next year. Yeah, and given that global liquidity thing as well. And we'll talk about that in another subject, in another show. And hit the big red subscribe button to stay updated. That's all you need to know. You just got to watch out for all those lower prices I said, 2,430. This trend line right here, which I don't have drawn in, right, wherever it was. Screw you. Here we go. That one right there, you just really want to see preferably that hold right there. You don't want to see it come down here. Really don't want to see that. That is gold. And when gold to 3,000. Silver. Okay, silver on the daily time frame priced in US dollars. Gee, what do you know? $28.90, 29 US dollars. Okay. What have we been talking about? Let me get rid of this. Of course, I've been talking about the back-in business line. Where is the back-in business line? 29 US dollars. Where did we close at last week, bang on 29 US dollars. Actually, a high technically of 29 and 6 cents on this particular index, the CFDs on silver. This is in US dollars. Out of interest, I recently just did move, get out of the way, I recently moved my back in business line from this spike up here, right there, down to here at 29 US dollars. It just seemed more likely. This is before we'd posted this. It was just this spike here was looking good, but then I moved it to here. We found resistance here, and this is the back in business line. So once we eventually close a day or two above, and as long as we remain above 29 US dollars, we're back in business, baby. We're just in this beautiful trading range. We're over key resistance, and then we're looking positive so long as we remain above it. We're looking positive for a push to the final hurdle, and the final hurdle is 31 US dollars. As you know, if silver closes any month above 31 US dollars, above 31, not just bang on 31, above 31, then it is absolute go time, baby. For me personally, you do you. That says 100% bull market. We're going to be pushing to your 37 to 40, and then on to it's just higher prices from there with your basic up and downs, of course. But that's the real big final hurdle for me, 31 US dollars. And then I actually explained in last week's show how it was even more of a key level when we looked at the yearly time frame. Go back and watch that video because I'm not going to bore you with it. But right here, we're just we're hanging around 29 right here. What I want to show you is the 1 hour time frame on the relative strength index. Let me get rid of that. Right here, out of interest, if you're new to the show, this has been my best buy zone in silver, anywhere from $28 anywhere down to 26 US dollars. While we are above 28 US dollars, which happen to be, what do you know, key resistance and key support right there. While we're above 28, you're only looking like, it's still like a 50-50 chance that we see the bottom end hit. I really need to see 29 clear. Once we clear and hold 29, then the chance of getting down to the $26 area is probably down to like 20-30%. Okay, it's a very key area here, this 29. Just want to show you the 1 hour time frame though. Okay, what you need to see, and what do we found this in gold the other day. I'll just quickly I won't show you that, but I did prove to you the other day that watching the intraday does help a little bit. Okay, we've been in extremely overvalued on the 1 hour time frame in silver already. You can spend some more time in here, so we could certainly punch through 29, but because found that resistance at 29, I have to more likely say the more likely option is that today we struggle to break 29. And now, could I be completely wrong? Yes. Would I be happy to be? Yeah, of course. But just watching this, see, look at the top end here. We're already gone into there and we're peaking over. So could we spend a little bit more time under 29 today? Yes. Now, that could prove to be the fake out because obviously, did you know that one day has 24 hours in it? So we have 24 of these to go through. Okay, so what you can potentially see is... and this is the intraday stuff. It doesn't really matter. No. But I just find this interesting for the technical analysis perspective. What you could see is the first, half of the day, first third of the day of this 24-hour period, come down, back down, and find support around here. So we see a little bit of a struggle to break through 29. This is, a failed attempt. Then we come back down here somewhere. And then, hopefully, that's a fake out for the day. And then the last 2/3 of the day is the pump up through 29. But I just want to keep you looking at that relative strength index on the 1 hour time frame because we're already in extremely overbought. Does this matter to you because you're a day trader? No. Well, if you're a day trader, maybe. But who day trades silver? Probably not a lot of people in our general stacking community. Certainly, if you're a stacker, you're probably not day trading. So does this stuff matter? No. Dollar cost average, yeah. Look at the macro, yeah. On the macro, on the weekly time frame, so we've just opened a new week. So it's been very positive to see us come back and test resistance right here. So we closed the week bang on resistance at 29. That's really, 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 really positive for silver. The fact that we broke out of this downtrend line, closed at resistance, and now we've opened. And as I said, watch out for those fake outs. This is very positive. Why? Because when we talk about those wicks, right, we talk about the big wicks, which we don't like. Big upward spiking wicks we don't like because it goes, oh, that's not good. You're not going to see that high for a while. When we posted this peak right here, this is in April of this year, we spiked at around about, $29.80. This big spike said, yeah, we're not going to see that for a little bit right there. So it took a little while. Don't like the big spikes. The little spikes you really like, because what that says is we're closing really close to major resistance, and that's really good. So I am much more confident, and I'm going to give you a 70% chance. And don't do what I do, and don't ever do what I do. But I'm going to give you a 70% chance that over the next week that this is going to be a green week. So I think this week we do break through. It might not be today, but I think we break through. This will be a green week this week. That looks really positive to me. Could this tank from here? Absolutely. And I'll admit to being completely wrong. But this tiny little wick right here, it's basically non-existent, says that this week is going to be green and that will punch through. So I'm giving you a 70% chance of that. I'm probably sticking my neck out there, but I'm going to stay with it for now. What would negate that? Well, breaking below, not breaking above 29 and, closing the week below. You would not want to see 28 be broken and closed below on a daily or weekly time frame. And I think that's likely at the moment. 70% chance this is a green week. That would be very, very positive for silver. Okay, and that would say that eventually, maybe up and down a little bit, but eventually we're making a play for 31, and just watch out for that 31 area. So that's pretty much all you need to know. Watch for a break of 29. It's looking all right. 70% chance we do, and just watch out for 28 as the support level. Don't want to break it. If we do, probably coming back down here. My disc is almost full. Oh, okay, thanks for letting me know. Good to know. Don't you hate it when your disc is almost full? That is silver. Hit the big red subscribe button to join the family. Here is platinum on the weekly time frame. Okay, so we close the week positive looking. We're still technically in the depressed zone for platinum, and I have to be depressed while we're in here because those are my rules. But out of interest, we are above 945 US dollars, which said to me, while we're above 945, this is less likely to play out. While we're below 945, I was saying 80-90% chance we see my best buy zone tapped anywhere down between 900 to 750 US dollars. While we're above 945, that jumps to like only immediately to like a 30% chance while we're above 945. That is a very key area right there. Okay, very big line in the sand. Above here, looking okay. Below here, not looking good. That's pretty much all you need to know for platinum. For my new subscribers, I won't be excited for platinum until we get into anywhere in this area here. Anything over 1,020 US dollars, I am getting excited for platinum. I'm like, ho-hum, whatever, just normal, just does it to me every time where it fakes me out and then comes back down. So if we're in there, it's like, yeah, okay, no man's land, neutral. Here I have to be depressed technically because we're back in this long-term symmetrical triangle pattern from February of 2008. Failure. We're back in this zone right now. So technically I have to be depressed, but I will remain cautiously optimistic while we're above 945. Sound good? And as you know, I am supremely full bull market, no questions asked except for black swan events and things we can't see, market manipulation. When we ever close any month above 1,120 US dollars, that signals absolute bull market for me. And then we'll be talking all about those higher prices. We ain't anywhere near there yet. When we get there, we'll start celebrating. That's all you need to know for platinum. Has to remain over 945, otherwise down she goes. Let's take a look at the gold to silver ratio. It's playing out. It has been playing out. Okay, towards the end of last week, because we had This is the gold to silver ratio. As this goes up, gold is outperforming silver. As this goes down, silver is outperforming gold. So we had been on the daily time frame, extremely overvalued for gold against silver. And I was suggesting because we had this peak and then we had this second peak, it's much more likely that silver I said this last week, that silver would have its time in the sun again in the next week or two. So I thought we would break back down into this area, and that was pretty obvious. Look at that on the relative strength index on the daily. Very obvious because it was just in a period of extremely overvalued. And again, it oscillates. You always go back down. Okay, so we have seen that. So we're back in that area, in this no man's land area, the neutral area. It says to me, I don't know which way it's going to go. Is gold going to, continue to outperform silver for months and years to come? I don't know while we're in here. Either way. And while we're above here, it looks like gold will continue, particularly if we get above here, the final hurdle right there, 93 point something, that says, wow, gold's really going to continue to have its moment in the sun. When we ever do get back down below this trend line right here, that says, haha, it's still silver's time, silver on its way. We all made the right choice of buying silver, which a lot of us have pretty much all silver. I own a little bit of gold, but I am mainly silver. I have some platinum too. But I need to see this get back down below this trend line right here and then start making its way. We ain't there yet, so we are just in the no man's land, the any metals game area right there. But as I did, I don't like to use the word predict. So as I did have a good feeling, more than a 50% chance that we would see silver outshine gold in the next couple of weeks. That has come to fruition so far. It obviously will find a low point. Out of interest, we are getting to a support level. Look at this. Support, resistance. Is resistance going to become support and then we tick back up like that? I don't know, but what you want to see if you're a silver holder and you want to increase your ounces of gold later on down the track, you want to get more ounces in your hands later on, you might buy silver now and then wait for the long term, and you would want to see this crack through. You want to see this tank all the way down here, okay? So if you're a silver holder and you want to get more gold, you want to see this number tank. But we're just in the indeterminate range. I don't know which metal is going to reign supreme right now while we're in here. Sorry, I can't give you a definite, and I generally don't do that. But let's look at it on the weekly time frame. Okay, this is a failure. Look at this long-term downtrend line. This is a failure to break and hold above a long-term trend line. Might we see from a failed move a fast move in the opposite direction? Quite possibly. But out of interest for silver holders, you want to see this ratio tank. And if we do get back into this general area here, then it's much more likely that we do continue to outperform gold as this is going down. Out of interest for the long term, my long-term goal, long-term reasonable-ish goal is the 50 mark right there. Imagine buying silver up here at 125 or anywhere. Imagine buying silver at 100, okay? Imagine buying silver right here at 100 and then waiting until it gets down to the gold to silver ratio to 50. That means with some fees, etc., because you've got to do the physical swaps and pay premiums, etc. Imagine swapping your silver that you bought at a 100 ratio, swapping it for double the amount of gold in your hands. You've doubled the amount of your gold in your hands versus if you had bought gold up here. So when you see the gold to silver ratio really, really high, silver's the great play, okay? Particularly when you look at and we've talked about this before, you look at the relative strength index. You go back here and go, gee, gold's really, really overvalued against silver. It hasn't been overvalued for a long time. Gee, I think that's going to, go back down on the relative strength index on the monthly time frame. Gee, I'm going to buy silver here. But imagine just buying it here at 125 and swapping it for gold at 63. You've doubled the amount of gold in your hands, give or take, a bit of premium. That's just crazy. This is the way stackers can increase their ounces over time. And you can swap in and out of gold and silver over longer periods of time. You can teach your kids about the gold to silver ratio and they can watch it. It's generational wealth, okay? So that is the gold to silver ratio, indeterminate at this stage while we're in that area. really, I personally really want to see the gold to silver ratio go blip, 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 blip. That's just me. That's the gold to silver ratio. Anything else we need to look at? Ooh, okay, very quickly, the AUD against the USD has broken out. We closed the week at, okay, we're back above. Okay, we're at this trend line right here, mini trend line in a larger symmetrical triangle pattern. What this is measuring for my international subscribers, you don't care, just for the Aussies, this is the Aussie dollar floating against the US dollar. As this is going up, the Aussie dollar is strengthening against the US dollar. That's technically not good for your precious metals holdings because it's either not moving or going down in terms of your Australian dollar value. What you really want to see as a greedy stacker is this just tank. You want to see the Australian dollar weaken against the US dollar only from a pure stacking perspective of your gold holdings or silver holdings in Australian dollars. However, what's a weakening Australian dollar doing to the rest of the Australian economy? So there's gives and takes there, okay? But technically, you don't want to see this go really high, okay? You don't want to see it go to parity with gold, okay? But let's take a look very quickly at gold in Australian dollars. I think we should, because now this is where, out of interest, the Australian dollar, and this is a perfect explanation or a perfect scenario of where you take a look at gold, right? This is gold on the weekly time frame. Gold on the weekly time frame, new all-time high just last week, okay? So look at this. But now when you look at the gold in Australian dollars, we already peaked a couple of weeks earlier than that, okay? So this new all-time high in gold in US dollars has not equated to an all-time high in Australian dollars for gold because of the Australian dollar strengthening against the US dollar. So can you see that? As this continues to strengthen, if gold didn't move and consolidated, let's say it never moved from 2,500 US dollars for like an entire month or two. Let's just say it's just basically flatlined for like $10, $20 move. It ranged for a while, but the Australian dollar kept strengthening and strengthening and strengthening against the US dollar, where you'd actually see the value of your Australian dollar gold go blip, 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 like that, okay? So that's why we have to have that second factor, and everyone else other than you Yankees have to factor in what our foreign currency is doing against the US dollar. Okay, so we've got that second thing, you lucky mongrels over there. So that's gold, silver, platinum, gold to silver ratio, Australian dollar, USD, and gold in Australian dollars. But we're really looking good. I mean, as gold is going up, as gold is going up in US dollars, gold will generally tend to go up in Australian dollars. It might just take a little bit of time. But our next personal Australian dollar level is 3,980 Australian dollars. We'll call it the $4,000 mark is the next big Fibonacci level. Now, I don't really take into account too much Fibonacci and stuff like that on with the Australian dollar of gold. Again, why? Because it floats. It has that second factor. So I don't use technical analysis so much on foreign currencies of gold. It works the best, I think, on the US dollar because it's the world's reserve currency. But out of interest, if there were some Australian stackers and they were thinking in Australian dollars rather than US dollars, maybe that $3,985 to $4,000 mark might be an area. But I really don't factor that in because gold could just be boop, boop, boop in US dollars, and really we just tend to follow what the US dollar does. Does that all make sense? Good. Did it make no sense? That's okay too. That's all of it. Let's take some questions. I'll do some comments and then we'll get out of here. Let's see, people. Thank you for watching. So when $3,000 gold could be, really, it is absolutely possible by the end of this year. But I think 2025 is almost basically a no-brainer, barring stuff, particularly with the global liquidity cycle, which we're in sort of a low of. I'll do that maybe tomorrow, sometime this week. Hit the big red subscribe button to stay abreast. Last comments, etc. CT, oh, he's back. CT running late the Sunday. This year, of course, it's Sunday evening for you. Great. A week-long cough. Oh, you've had a week-long cough. Ooh. So we are confirming that you had the thing. You had the thing, did you? Hang on, Tony. Did you have the old thing or the new thing? Have you got the new thing? The that one? Did you get that one? Oh, Tony, what have you been doing? Let's see. I hear the Melbourne Zoo is closing off the month. Oh, are you joking or you're not joking? No, I think I'm going to say that you're joking with that one. You hear? No, I'm going to double check that. I think you're joking, but let me see. You definitely got to be joking. Okay, closure. No, there's no news of that. I thought you were joking. No, you are joking. All right, cool. You had me for a second there, knackers. Are they moving it to Parliament to be with the rest? Yes, good one. Very good advice, Joe. Well, good. That was probably the emotional thing. What's your emotional feelings? What's your emotional feelings? Bojangles, if you're watching, get back to work. I don't know who that is, but hey, only invest money you can afford to lose. Well, that's the biggest one. Don't invest more than you're willing to lose. We've all been there, though. I have. People only tell you when it's up correctly. Will be quiet when it's down. Yes. Watch the chatter. Is Twitter, is X just alive with people going, Bitcoin's at $100,000, gold's at da 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 da. Watch me, use me, abuse me, people. Use me as your potential contraindicator. I could be. Because don't forget, and use YouTubers and use just the general chatter as your potential contraindicator. Because of course, right, I'm going to be, if we continue to make new all-time highs, what am I going to naturally want to talk about? And it's good for views. Of course it is, right? I do this for a living. As you know, I've launched and grown many businesses' YouTube channels. I'm good with titles and tags. Of course, if gold makes a new all-time high, I'm going to go, gold, new all-time high. So watch all the YouTubers as well. How many people are talking about it, etc. How many more new channels are coming on board? How many new stackers are there? You know, does every man and his dog, every person in their pet, does every person in their pet have a YouTube channel talking about precious metals? If that's the case, then, you know, if it's just a sudden influx of new YouTube channels and just these people you've never seen before, there's a new influx of social media content to do with stacking, start to take notice of that, because it just means there's a lot more new investors in the game, and some have chosen to, you know, put it onto social media. So you've got to watch that. Yes, I know my disk space is getting low. Go away. I have a few more minutes before it stops. All right, so we'll go in a couple of minutes. So you've got to watch that too. You also have to watch me. Am I getting euphoric? Watch me. Use me as your indicator. I also want you, we're the GMS family here, I want you to pull me up. If I start looking to euphoric and going, oh, this is the best thing since sliced bread, you're going to go through silver to the moon, da, 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 da. You got to pull me up on that and go, hey, Joe, you're a little bit, what's going on with you? And then I'll use you to inform me about my potential euphoria. Okay, so let's use each other, and that's what the GMS family is about. Let's use each other, but really, actually, let's genuinely use each other for how we're feeling. Let's gather the family feeling, right? Will we collectively come to an idea of, yeah, it's getting a little bit peaky now? Okay, I don't think that's anywhere close to where we are now, but yeah. I agree with all that. These are the things you've got to look out for. Okay. Fear. Fear is the mind killer. Good morning, folks. My video render. I think that might be it. Living Adamant says, bought the dip, but wish I'd not procrastinated. Yeah, that's like everyone. Yeah, it took me 3 months to first buy my first silver, and then in 3 months it had gone from $17, $18 to $24, $25. So it took 3 months for me to pull the trigger for the very first time in 2010. Yeah, I wish I hadn't waited, but that's life, man. I wish I had bought Bitcoin in 2009. Instead, I bought it in 2013. Anything else? $48 will be the new floor, in my opinion. Tony. Next year, I think the stock market will crash historically. It won't happen during the election cycle. Yes, we've been talking about that. Our good friend John Howard. Oh, it was John Howard, was it? What? John Howard sold the gold in 1997. What do you think all-time high in gold with RSI overbought? What do we think all-time high in gold with RSI overbought? People heading to silver. Oh, okay, with people heading to silver. Well, where gold goes, silver does tend to follow. Yeah, Aussies were robbed of that $250 thing. In this financial tightening, I think people buy what they can afford. Yeah. Yes, liquidate your currency for real money. I do agree. Will silver follow the same trend? Generally, it does. Again, where gold goes, silver does tend to follow. It will jump with the BRICS revaluation. I don't know about that. I just don't know. That was more of like, I don't know about that. I really don't know, though. Will they do a revaluation? I don't know. Will the BRICS be a real thing? I don't know. Silver may jump when the Fed cuts too. That's definitely the Fed are going to cut at some point. Absolutely, because you go through periods of, expansion and not expansion, of up and down, all silver bars and coins. If it's not going to be fractional, gold will be valued at an astronomical amount. General question, what do chat people prefer, silver bars or minted bars? Well, this is a chat question. I just prefer regular silver bars. The year of Jubilee, starts on... Tony, you're in the debt Jubilee thing. Okay. I've yeah. I don't know about the debt Jubilee. You never know, though. It could be a thing. Let's see. Gold has a huge future. It's 27,000 USD today, inflation adjusted. Right. So David Morgan says it should be inflation adjusted, 27,000 US dollars per gold. Can you imagine the day? If when the day comes, gold is at 27,000 US dollars, you've just got to always remember what's the price of bread and milk and everyday goods and services. Okay, so we don't buy gold, we don't get into stacking to make huge amounts of money, increase our wealth. We do it to at least be able to buy the same amount of stuff in 10 years that we can buy today. So what's the price of everything else when gold's $27,000? Good question. But yeah, gold could go to $1 million an ounce. But what is a loaf of bread at the time? Let's see, last ones. Pete says, I love buyback coins, generally work out cheaper. Yeah, than bars. That's true when you buy the buyback stuff. Speaking of, I almost missed it. Jeez. Speaking of, I think Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au have buyback silver ounces in stock, and I think you're going to get potentially some silver rounds. Here's what you don't do, though. You do not buy back, let's see, buy back 1 kilo, buy back 5 ounce. Oh, they might not have buyback 1 ounce. Let's see. I thought they had buyback 1 ounce silver in stock. Maybe they sold it all. They had about 1,500 ounces. Maybe it's not there, but this is perthbullion.com.au, my preferred physical bullion dealer. If you are buying from anyone, yes, it is right there, 1 ounce silver, buyback secondary market. They have it in stock right now, and it could be various stuff. Do me a favor, don't be that guy or girl and send them a message and say, hey, what have you got in your buyback today? I'm only looking for maple. If you got maples, I'll buy them. If you got silver eagles, I'll get some of your stuff. You don't do that. 1 ounce buyback silver is because you just want the cheapest silver possible. You don't care what form it comes in. It could be a bar, but look, of course, understand, when it's 1 ounce silver, it's almost always going to be in the form of a round or a coin. Okay? A coin being legal tender in the country in which it was minted, and a round being a round, not legal tender. So 1 ounce silver, buying it, you're almost always going to get a round or a coin. Okay? Generally, you won't get bars. They're just 1 ounce silver bars, aren't as prevalent. Yep. I think from memory, when I saw their unboxing video, it was mainly rounds, okay? But don't send them a message and do, what have you got in your buybacks today? That's one of the secrets of the bullion dealers. Now, I don't think Ricky is like this. I just remember my own personal thing. When someone would walk into the store and say, hey, show me your buyback box. Go on, show me your good stuff. And I'd be like, in my head, I'd go, no. what I would say out loud would be, oh, there's nothing special in there today, when I knew there was. So don't ask. Don't ask. Don't be that person, okay? Just buy your buyback silver and you get what you get is the best way to do it. And of course, because you have to understand, time is money. When you're emailing the company to say, what have you got in your buybacks? That means someone physically has to it's just, time is money, and there's no point when the margins are so low, when the premiums are so low on buyback silver. That's why they say it's like a lucky dip, etc. You just get what you get because time is money. You don't have time to respond to everyone. Say, oh, we've got 5 of these and 10 of these, and then you have to respond. Oh, well, I'll take those. No, buyback silver is just you get what you get. Okay, but it's the perfect way to stack 1 ounce silver at a great price. And Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, have the goods. Speaking of the other goods, wealthstack.com, my new brand partner. This is unallocated gold, fully backed though, fully backed 1-to-1 with real physical metal. It's a 100% gold backed token, okay? You download the app on Android or on iPhone. Let's take a look at what it looks like in terms of the actual app itself. You can get it on the Apple Store. You can get it on Google Play right here. That is what it looks like, Wealth Stack. Buy, sell, and trade physical gold. Now, it is like any other unallocated gold program. If you have unallocated gold, it's one of the major bullion dealers. It's exactly the same thing, except you get the added benefit of your claim of receipt being in the form of a blockchain token. Don't think of this, Wealth Stack is not crypto, okay? Wealth Stack is an unallocated, physically backed unallocated gold program with just that added benefit of having a blockchain-based token for that receipt of claim, okay? So those who aren't into crypto, this ain't it, okay? This ain't crypto, okay? But what you can do with the phone app, etc., is you can buy gold in very small amounts, or your family, your friends can. Maybe they're not into the whole stacking thing like we are. This is perfect for them because it's very easy. They just download it on their phone. They can use the desktop app as well at wealthstack.com, and you can spend as little as $10 buying real physical gold that they have in the vaults, full secure, insured, all that kind of stuff, right? What I'll get you to do, if you want to find out more, I do have an interview with David Ski that I did last week. David Ski, the CEO. I'll link somewhere to that, or just go back onto my channel and find, Wealth Stack CEO interview. David Ski. Okay, just go find it. Answers all the frequently asked questions. But if you want to see the frequently asked questions, go to wealthstack.com, go all the way down here to the very bottom left there. You'll see frequently asked questions and read all of those. Why buy from WealthStack? What is LBMA? Because all of their gold they hold is LBMA registered. It's from an LBMA registered wholesaler. Why is WealthStack different from other bullion dealerships? And all those questions. What are the fees? All that kind of stuff. They outline everything. So read the frequently asked questions. And of course, you'll be hearing much more about WealthStack from me. We'll do more interviews and all that kind of stuff. But it's a really great program. In my humble opinion, they are my new brand partner, and I wouldn't add a second brand partner to Good Morning Stackers if I hadn't have crossed my T's and dotted my I's. So do check them out. Eventually, I think we'll do an interview maybe with Matt, who is the communications director there, and he's a stacker. He's on the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia forum. He's been a stacker for a long time as well. So we'll have a chat with him. Last comments, last queries. Wow, it's a lot of comments today. Be nice to be able to transfer from Bybit or right. Living Adam Man says, great. Wealth Stack looks pretty awesome. It really is. Will be good to see when they have silver online and direct payment option. Yes, so they're in the startup kind of range at the moment. You can buy gold. They will be adding silver. They'll be adding platinum. They also have a debit card coming as well, so you can just spend. You can tap and pay in gold. It's amazing. Yes, so the way you pay at the moment is with debit or credit card, but they will be doing direct payment options as well, like your bank transfer and things too. But it says, be nice to be able to transfer from Bybit or an exchange to pay for things. Right, okay. Sure. And you signed up. Fantastic. Well, great. That's excellent to see. Thanks, Lance, for signing up. Now, Naka says, BN are usually very accommodating when asking about buybacks, coins, and rounds. Yes. So your bullion dealer can be very accommodating to you personally, if you say, "Hey, look, I know you're not supposed to tell me, what are in my buybacks, but look, if you have anything interesting, I'd love for you pick something for me." That's the way to do it. Just so there are ways. Yes, we can be very accommodating because, as I said in that video about secrets of the bullion dealers, we have our favorite customers, and we have the customers that we are not our favorites. Okay, so we have the customers we really take care of. And Knackers, you're going to be one of those customers. You're one of the ones that aren't pushy. You come in, you're a regular in the physical store. You go in, or maybe you're regular over email, and you've been a long-term purchaser at BN, for example, who, as you know, I was their first employee. I worked there for 3 years. I launched and grew their YouTube channel. You know who I am. So I have no problem with talking about BN, wonderful company. And I would have customers come in the store or email, and we have our favorites, right? So you're probably one of those ones that was never pushy about it. And just every now and then you're asking, hey, if you have anything interesting, I'd love, chuck some of that in the pile. Very happy to accommodate you. But it's just that when those new customers come in and they're like, "G'day, mate, how you going? Oh, what's in your box today? Hey, mate, bring out your buyback box. Let me see what's in there." And I go, "Oh yeah, there's just nothing interesting in there today." Nah. Oh, we're all out. We're almost all out. Or it's not policy. We're not really allowed to, do that. Of course I will, but for the right customer. Okay, so be that customer. That's all I'm going to say. That is it, my people. I think. Sure. Yeah, that's it, people. I've got to go. You got to go. Let's do the Synchronised Slurp, the last one, and we'll get out of here. I've been running over an hour. What is it with these hour-long shows today? This week. I'll tell you what, not this week, last week as well. I just have too much fun with you people. Are you ready? Let's dance it out.
Good morning, Stack. Oh yeah, we're feeling fine. Good morning, Stackers. It's podcast.
That's been Good Morning Stackers. Grab your and let's do the 3, 2, 1.
Now we're on the move.
Oh, that is so good. Have a great week. I will see you tomorrow. Hit the big red subscribe button, so have a great day. Let's see where gold, silver goes overnight. Hopefully it goes where we hope it goes. And that's it, my funky people. Have a great day. Get to it. Stay safe. Stay informed. Keep stacking. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. Have a great day.